when Lil Nas X first came out, I think I used to send you all the time in DMs.
You used to always
criticizing
send me stuff
him
all the time. And I used to always be like, look, Jay.
No, I used to criticize him because I felt like
Chill.
it was mainstream commercializing the LGBT process, right? Like, let's just make him look gay because it wasn't clear that he was gay. It was like
he's definitely gay
now.
No,
he's
right?
gay now.
So wait, just to clarify though, Jay, he is gay,
no,
right?
he's gay now.
Okay, I'm glad that we've said, because I've never heard him say that.
No,
so this
the way
is a big,
he grabbed
big
me a couple weeks ago.
Oh, he grabbed you? You said a couple nights ago?
A couple weeks ago.
Get the
the way he grabbed me, you know, and I've never looked at Lil Nas X
Yo,
like
I'm
no,
done.
I never looked
That's
at him.
because he's been working out. He's just
that
always,
body is that body is right. And look, I'm gonna be myself right now. Look,
Yeah,
when I
there
saw
we
him and he grabbed me, I said, okay, I never thought like I would take Lil Nas X down. I probably would do it, but look, nonetheless, when he first came out, right? I was very critical of him, and I would send you stuff because I felt like at the time we never saw a mainstream black gay artist
100%.
cross over, be embraced by mainstream. Yes. And so I didn't know if it was a marketing thing or whatever, but once I was able to really pay attention to what he was doing, I then went from a critic to being a cheerleader because he's knocking doors down and putting it in your face, what you've been putting in our face for years, and forcing the conversation of, what am I doing? I'm doing what y'all doing. What do you think about his movement when you look at it?
I love Lil Nas X's movement. I think that he is an inspiration for expression, for acceptance, for bravery. I think musically, and this is where I'm so glad the conversation has been going, because the truth is, like, and you know this, Jay, you could say anything or you could do anything, but if it's a stunt eventually, because we are in the entertainment business, it's gonna bite you in the ass. Lil Nas X is a dope-ass musician. Yeah. And he's been a dope-ass musician. Like, since, like, Panini, I used to play Panini in my crib, like, probably like 30 times, like, in a day. Like, and there was always this conversation that I think was so surrounding his career in terms of his sexuality that it was even, you know, even though, and shout out to him, he was still getting platinum records. I think there was still, and even to this point, people don't know how good he is. Like, and he's so good as a musician, and that's why he's still here. So I enjoy his records, I enjoy his music, and I'm glad to see at this point that with the Montero tour that he's about to do, people are actually tapping in and saying, wow, this kid is this great. And that's a big reason why I came out as well, is because success is, one, by your own definition, but it's also not something that's designed or designated by your sexuality. Right. So I'm really proud of him and what he's doing right now.
But I think it's because of artists like you, artists like him, artists like Frank Ocean, you know, who've been able to allow the raw talent and just the confidence in that talent to come through. What do you think it's going to take for the Saucy Santanas who are up next, or, you know, the TDE artist who was recently outed online, to get that same confidence to keep pushing through?
I don't know too much about the Isaiah Rashad situation. Isaiah is like one of my really good friends. He was one of the first artists to really support me, you know, like on Twitter, on Instagram, and just all types of stuff. So shout out to him. So I don't really know too much about that situ, so I can't really say. But what I will say about the Saucy Santana is he's already blowing up. Like, Saucy Santana, I know who Saucy Santana is. People outside know who they are. But I do think that, you know, no matter what your sexuality is, no matter, it's all about the music. So I think he's seeing a lot of success because he has really great music. His music videos have great concepts. His shows are super duper cracking. Like, he makes the moment, Saucy Santana, whenever he's there. So I think that for him to, I guess, go mainstream, he just has to keep doing what he's doing. Like, I know there's, again, it's a music industry, so there are people, no matter if there's certain people that are like, oh, I don't really like this, there's people that are counting the streams and the numbers that he's doing that are saying, this looks like a good investment. And I don't know if that's his plan to stay independent or do what he does, but somebody has to see that, you know, he's definitely a great investment, you know, musically.
Well, I'm sitting here talking to you and realizing that you're a Capricorn, and you guys are typically so toxic, and you're just not that. You know,
well, you want to know something? I'm a cusp baby.
Okay.
So my birthday is January 19th, so I'm a Capricorn and an Aquarius.
Okay, so I'm gonna lean more towards Aquarius because I have this thing where I don't date or really try to get too close to Capricorns. I'm traumatized.
Oh, wow. My dad's a Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn.
Yeah, I'm very triggered. Okay,
Triggered.
so your kids, Blake and Charlie. So how does it feel now to be a dad of two?
It's a big difference. I'll tell you the biggest difference is being a child of two. It's funny because I guess, especially when you're the little brother, people just feel like it's just like, oh, you just have another kid now. Like, it's got two kids. Like, yeah, so you have two kids, and it's like they're both two different people, and they both need the same amount of time. Like, they both need the same amount of love.
And your kids seem to have a lot of energy.
Oh my gosh. My kids have so much energy. They're very determined. Like, they're a lot like their dad and their uncle, where it's a thing, if they want something, they're gonna figure out how to get it. And that's something that I've had to learn. You don't wanna break that. So it's not something that you wanna go in and be like, no, I already told you, you can't have these Oreos. You just went in the kitchen, you got these Oreos. It's like you have to figure out, like, sometimes what is the best logic around it. So maybe it's like, hey, buddy, I told you that you couldn't have those Oreos. You went in there, you got the Oreos anyway. One more Oreo, and now you have to go lay down. But it's also like a thing where it's like, okay, because you did this, there's a consequence, because there's always a repercussion of whatever action you have in life. However, I do understand and do think it's a valuable lesson and life hack to know that if there's something that you want to get, there's always other ways to go around and get it. But it is about how you do it, and they do always come with a repercussion.
Do you ask your dad for advice?
Of course, yeah. My dad is the most successful man I know. So in terms of balance, like, he's always had health, he's always had family, he's always been able to figure out jobs to resource, you know, the money that we would need that he could use as a tool to help us with the things around, like, family, house, environment. So, you know, my dad is the most successful person I know, and that all comes from his balance of things. So not only do I ask my dad business-wise what's going on, I always am reaching out to him and trying to figure out, especially from a family perspective or value, what I should be doing. And he was just expressing to me how important it was for me to be with Charlie when he's 1 and when he's 3 in the times and the spaces that I can be, and not just be out here trying to, because you got to do it for somebody. You could give it to God, but you have to do it for somebody. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not spending the time, then what's the point of doing what you're doing? And who is it really for? You know?
Your mom and dad, they're still together?
Yeah.
So do you think that that's the reason why you and your brother are raised so family oriented and so, because it's 26, I mean, I was successful, but I don't think I was this put together.
Oh, wow, thank you. I think that, I think so, yeah. Because, you know, there's a point or there's a situation where it's like, I grew up and I got to see how being in the household with my mother and my father, like, my mom taught me a lot of things, not just about myself, but also respect and how to value people and how to be kind. You know, like, there's like a lot of different, so having both of those different things, I know it made a huge difference, not just seeing my mom, but also seeing my dad waking up. Like, and I do believe that there's a level of family rhetoric that you can learn being in, but at the same time, like, everybody shouldn't be together. You know what I'm saying? I think that's something else that I also learned as well, is that if you can't make things work, and I saw that with my family, with my mom and with my dad, where they've had situations throughout my childhood where it's like, is this gonna work? Okay, it'll work because we've had a conversation and we've come to a cohesive understanding that this is how we're gonna move forward. And that's how relationships should work. No matter if they're business, if they're with your partner, you should be able to express yourself and come to an understanding so that you can move together and grow, you know?